Oh, okay.
Is everyone from India or from somewhere else as well?
I guess all of them are from India.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome.
I guess we can start, and I'll start by introducing yourself. So first of all, good afternoon to everyone. Fuel is an initiative by Startup Reseau to build future entrepreneurs and leaders. And today we have Shrikant Pawar with us, who's been a 4 times entrepreneur and currently the co-founder of SketchNote. So in today's event, you'll learn about how someone can start his own startup and at the same time know how SketchNote can help them building their startup. So first of all, welcome Shrikant.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So basically what I will do is that, I'll just give a brief introduction about myself and what I've been doing for all these years. And
Yeah.
then, I will just give a quick demo of SketchNote and how SketchNote can actually help everyone start up. And after that, I'll just throw the floor open for questions.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks. So essentially, I am a serial entrepreneur, and I started way back in 2004. I was the fifth employee at usendit.com. This is way back before even Dropbox was there, or and that kind of stuff. And just like how today everyone is like figuring out Web3 and being excited about Web3 and stuff like that, in 2004, Google Analytics and Google AdWords had just come. To be honest, the Gmail also came actually in 2004. And I was figuring out all the marketing strategies and how to actually come up with viral marketing and those kind of things. I was working directly with the co-founders of Usendit, and I quit Usendit when they raised $20 million in seed funding to do the biggest mistake of my life, which is MBA in UK. And in the first year itself, I realized that okay, MBA is not made for me. I plan to move back from UK. I completed the MBA, and I moved back to India. And I started like 2 other startups, which were angel invested by the co-founders of Usendit. And guess what? They massively failed. But after that, I was completely clueless, but I was into comics a lot. And, I just wanted to do like kind of a hobby project. So I started a comics website back in 2007. And in just 3 months' time, I scaled the company to top 70,000 websites of the world. And eventually I sold it to a Bollywood producer here in Mumbai. And after that, like, Steve Jobs had launched iPhone. And in 2008, they announced the App Store. And I thought like, okay, the apps are going to take over the world. So I moved to Bangalore. I hired one part-time developer, and I scaled that company to 70 people in just 2 years' time. But essentially, we were doing like services, and I wanted to work on innovation. I wanted to work on product, and that time, my father, who has been living with type 2 diabetes for 25 years, he had an untoward health incident, and I had to come back to Mumbai. I did come back to Mumbai to take care of him. And, I'm a bachelor in pharmacy, but I could not code. So I thought that, okay, this is something of a handicap. So I started taking coding lessons from a 20-year-old engineering student. And in 1 year's time, I learned to code in Java-based language called processing, in C, embedded C, and Objective C, and I was making iPhone apps. And then we started working on our idea on in the diabetes space. Long story short, in 5 years time, we got CE certification, we got FDA certification. Our first client was Intel G in the US, and we had users in 42 countries. And in 2017, we got acquired by this massive medtech company in the US in Silicon Valley called Livongo. And basically, after that, I was heading Livongo's India operations for 2 years' time. Now, basically what happened was that while this was actually happening, a lot of these accelerators you would get in touch with me and say that, if, I can mentor their students. And I would tell everyone that, look, I'm not a mentor material, but what I can do is that, I can share the kind of learnings that I had during my like whatever 12 years old career of startups, right? And in the meantime, like, Ajay from Startup Reseau, he was working for Zone Startups. He was heading Zone Startups, and he said that this is exactly what we are looking for. And I got associated with Zone Startups pro bono, of course, and I was with them for 3 years' time. And I was working with a cohort of women entrepreneurs who were working on their startup, on their hardware ideas. And what I would do is that I would actually help them come up with product market fit. And what I saw was that as compared to myself when I was in 2004, these women entrepreneurs were really, really intelligent. So for example, and they did have like that kind of domain expertise. So for example, if they were like designers, they were just like really amazing designers. If they were coders, they were just like killing it in coding. However, there was one problem I was seeing, and that was the business problem. Their business concepts, they would just not get it across culture, sales, marketing, product market fit, and operations, and so on and so forth. So what I would do is that I would actually draw sketch notes about hey, if you want to see if your product has got problem solution fit or not, I would draw like SketchNote, and I would just show it to them, and they would get an idea about, oh, this is what maybe one of the strategy. And I used to think that these guys are like so intelligent, then why are they not getting it? Maybe I thought that this might be a cultural thing, that we take things as they come in kind of a jugaad way and stuff like that. But then I was also angel investing in my personal capacity, and I got a call from Volkswagen in Munich. They also have their internal accelerator, and they asked me if I want to judge some of their startups and want to invest. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So I flew to Munich. I went for their demo day of sorts and stuff, and I was asking them like very, very basic questions, and they were not able to answer those business questions. From there, I went to Porsche in Berlin. They also have the internal accelerator. Again, the same kind of situation. From there, I flew to Madrid, which has got like the biggest accelerator of Europe, called Telefonica. They have they have funded 3,000 SMEs. Again, I interviewed the people there. I would ask them simple questions when it comes to early stage. It's basically they would not get it. So I thought that probably I might have something, especially with the early stage entrepreneurs, right? You need a lot of hand holding. You need to spend a lot of time, especially in the early days. So I thought I can actually productize this, and that's when I thought, okay, maybe what if I can have the knowledge management bank or the solution. If I build that, it would be of real importance and help for the early stage entrepreneurs. So what I did is that I partnered with a co-founder from my previous startup, and we started building this extensive knowledge management library. And in October of last year, we went beta. We went live. We did not launch. We are still in beta, so we went live for the beta stage. And from then to now, we've got more than 1,200 people using our platform right now, out of which more than 60% are actively using it, which means that not only just individuals who have an idea to change the world, they are using it to build their startup, but also small teams or sizes of between 3 and 30 are actually using to build their startups. That's the entire storyline of where I started and I have come here. So if there are no questions right now, I'll just wait for some time. If there are no questions, I'll just straight away jump into the tool and start giving a demo. But before that, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
So you guys can type it in the chat box or unmute yourselves and ask him.
Hi, Shrikant.
Hi, Shruti.
So you mentioned that you had earlier two startups which kind of failed. So could you just share about it, like how you started and what was the reason that they failed?
Okay, great. So actually, there were 3 startups. I had also started one startup during my university days as well. So I was studying, and I had started this way back in 2005. So primarily, for the first startup to fail, the main reason was that the market was not ready for that idea. Because what happened that I had come up with the idea, and I thought that it's not going to go somewhere, and I just quit. And what happened is that, after 1 year, another startup from Mumbai started the same thing. And after 2 years, they actually got acquired for $20 million or some weird ass amount. So that was one thing that, it's like basically we prematurely gave up because we thought that the market was not ready for that startup. That was the first the reason for the first startup to fail. And for the second reason for the startup to fail was I started another startup in 2006. And again, basically what I was doing is that, I was making like a marketplace for animators to basically showcase their portfolio, right?
Mhm.
And this is exactly what Etsy did. And this is exactly what Behance did. And again, the same thing, we were too early, but we just gave up very, very quickly because we just thought that, okay, there's no market for it. But Etsy came like I think about 4 years later. Behance came, I think, about 6 years later or something like that, after I started working on that idea. So again, I feel that that there are two main resources which are in limited quantity for early stage startups. That is, one is time and second is money. So you need to work on that on a very, very tight schedule. But I feel that if you're really persistent, and if you've got like main thing, obviously it was too early for all those kind of things, but there are ways now to actually figure out whether whether your product actually has a product market fit or not and stuff. So you will have like those early indicators. You can make better choices on whether to kill that idea or to persist.
So what are those indicators?
So main thing first things first is that you need to have like a full-fledged, you need to work with your customers, users, right? Right from even before, like coming up with an idea, or in the MVP stage as well, right? There is even like coming up with a full-fledged MVP. You need to come up with a very, very simple MVP, and maybe just don't focus on the design, don't focus on how it is going to work or not, but just focus only on the pain point, whether this is going to actually like solve this particular pain point or not, right? But there are first things first, which you do is that you start interviewing people. But this is like kind of a double-edged sword, because when you are interviewing people, it's like psychology, people don't want to like hurt you and that kind of stuff, right? So they will always give you like favorable answers, which you do not want. You want actually people giving you like ruthless answers, whether if they don't like something, they're not going to use it or not. But the best like acid test for it is that you talk to like people who you don't know, right? In that case, they don't have that kind of inhibition to whether to hurt you or not. And this best acid test is that just have like a page, right? Like a landing page, run like $100 worth of Facebook ads, drive traffic towards that particular landing page, and see that are people actually like signing up for that service or not, right? So that you will come to know whether even before you have developed the product, just with the landing page, are people signing up for that, right? So this is one of the way, basically, just to see whether there is like market pull and that for your idea.
Exactly. So the next question is, how did you find the investors? It is pretty much difficult to give someone the hard-earned money, and especially when it comes to a startup, because you are not very sure of how it's gonna be like. A lot of times, even the potential ideas fail because customers may not respond as expected. So how did you convince your investors, and how did you get them on board?
Right. This is a classic question, right? Again, as I said, that the two main resources which startups have in limited quantity is like money, funds, and second is time, right? So essentially, I would say that even before you go to the to raise external amount of money, you can go to friends, family, and fools, right? Who basically primarily like just trust you and your capabilities, and essentially like from there you can go to the next level. But even before that, as I said, that if you actually validate your solution, because before taking anyone's money, you want to basically make sure that whether this idea has got legs or not, right? Because you don't want to burn anyone else's money and basically burn the trust in yourself, because this is not exactly what you're gonna stop doing at, right? You will, if you fail, you do it again, then you do it again, you do it again, and those kind of things, right? So what I would do is that try to bootstrap as much as possible. In fact, in this given, see, right now in this market, if you are really a good entrepreneur, because people bet not on your idea, but on you basically,
right?
That's what it is. But like Elon Musk says that, hey, I'm not an angel investor because I don't know how to bet on other people. I know myself, I will bet on myself. Right.
Right.
So that's what I would, again, everyone has different opinions on that, but given a chance, if you know that, okay, you're going to kill it or something like that, maybe like, what you can do is just start funding it yourself. Like what I would do. And this is the true story. That when I was, when I was in the UK, I was doing 4 jobs. So I would like, work in a bank, work in a call center, and I would work at Royal Mail. And in the night, I would wait tables. And so basically the money which I would get from like the two of this, the jobs would fund my, whatever my expenses, and the 2 jobs I would just put in my startup. Right. So I would suggest, try to bootstrap, and there are many ways people bootstrap. What they do is that, for 4 hours, they do, if you're a designer, they like, do design services, design freelancing for other people for 4 hours. And for the next 4 hours, they work on their startup.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you, Shrikant.
All right. Thank you so much. I think.
Can I speak?
Shruti.
Yes.
Shrikant, there are 2 more questions. Do you want to take them right now or after the product thing, so that we can get more questions together?
I'll just quickly answer the first question from Prateek. Now, how to tackle government intervention that blocks our startup plans? Yeah. So basically, I think you are you are the team Wagmi team, and the government is NGMI team, right? Is that correct? What you if I got it right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Unfortunately, there is little that you can do, right? Because that's what it is. Like, if like, for example, right now there's Web3 and all those cryptocurrencies are like are the talk of the town, right? Everyone is talking about that. But like way back in 2015, there was you see that e-commerce for medicine delivery. That was something which was like, the government was trying to regulate and those kind of things and stuff like that. And because of that, the investors were not getting into it, because obviously if the government tries to regulate, then you are basically done for, right? Unfortunately, there is very little that you can do if the government comes in. The only option for you is to move to a country where it is legalized, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Hi, Shrikant, when you're looking for a product market fit, do you apply design thinking approach or something else? Can you please share the details? Aman. All right. So yes, the short answer is yes. So basically we apply design thinking. We extensively work on, basically coming up with like working very, very close to our customers and working on the prototype. So we follow the build, measure, learn kind of ideology, wherein we basically build a prototype, then we measure basically what is the kind of feedback that we are getting from our early users who are getting it. We are learning from it, and we continuously like basically iterate. So this, learning from a customer feedback is a part of a hypothesis, and that's very, very ingrained in SketchNote right now. So yes, we do follow the entire design thinking process. Is vision important when starting a company? Absolutely, Saurabh. I think vision is definitely is what basically drives your product, right? But also keep this in mind that having a big vision is very important. But keep this in mind that it will keep on changing as the product starts taking shape. So just keep that in mind. So please do not have like one vision and and then if it is not working out, you just say that, okay, you know what, I'm not going to do it. But keeping this in mind that your product will be pivoting depending upon the market pull, depending upon government regulations of sorts, or those kind of things. So make sure that you have all these things in mind, and you have to be super flexible when it comes to that. All right, great. So having said that, I'll quickly just take you through the product, and then I'll take up more questions based on the product or based on startups in general. So I'll share my screen. All right. So Essentially, this is how we used SketchNote to manage the operations in SketchNote, right? So this is my dashboard, and this is highly customized to my need. And essentially what it is that, it's telling me, okay, you can continue building on the documents that you're working on. You can continue building on the board. So we work in an agile fashion. So we work in Scrum and Kanban. They are the essential tools what we use for. And these are the templates, and I will tell you what these templates mean that I'm actually learning. These are the things which I'm learning right now. And we run a AI basically, so that algorithm basically tells me according to whatever my interests are. It tells me that, okay, these are the next things that you should be looking at and studying and so forth. And we have a highly focused, early stage focused blog, and we are very active on that. And we post like one blog post every week and one podcast every week as well. And basically these are the tasks which are assigned to me right now by my team members. So I'll show you basically the first thing, which is the knowledge management part that I was mentioning. So we have a separate section called legal. So for the why we started this separate section is that in my previous startup, I got a legal bill of $80,000 from my law firm in the Valley. And obviously for an early stage startup, this becomes like a very, very steep cost. And that's why, what I did was that, I partnered with my law firm in India and my law firm in Silicon Valley. And we came up with like the agreements which are absolutely essential and needed by the early stage startups, right? So essentially, here you see our main premise is very simple, that let's say that, I want to study everything about warrants, what these warrants are, or I want to generate basically a template, right? So what we are saying is that, before even generating that kind of template, you can learn everything about warrants here. And in just 20 minutes, you can learn, and then it becomes much easier for you to basically, customize that. So, I finished learning this, but the way we are actually teaching this is in the form of, flashcard. So, essentially there is like, we are just taking it in a passive way, and there's like passive information and active information as well in it here. So, and plus there is like productivity built in every step. So if I want to highlight this, I can highlight it. And if I want to add a comment and tag my team member, I can actually do that as well. So, let's say I want to tag him, this is for demo. All right. So he will be getting basically the notification that, this he has been tagged. Plus at the same time, this is like, we are audio visual in
warrant
nature
agreement.
as well.
Warrant agreement governs warrant issuance. You might be issuing warrants differing in
So
terms
if you
of nature.
choose that, you want to listen to it, you can listen to it as well. Or if you want to just like quickly learn about it, you can just learn about it as well. And basically that's the idea where we are, heading to. And plus this is like, the active information as well. So I'll not take you through the entire thing, but once you have finished, learning about the entire thing, right now you can go ahead and then now you can generate the template. And I'll show you how this template is basically very, very unique. So essentially you see that the template, there is a template which has already been generated, and all I can do is just like type this information and it, just customize this agreement for my liking. And so you see that, you can basically just like generate everything. You don't require a law firm. You just come here and generate a document. And once you have generated this, right, you can share this with your team members or something, keep on working, keep on adding more points and stuff like that. And then you can just take a PDF and give it out. So just like this legal part, right, we've got a library, a content library of across all these categories of culture, operations, fundraising, ideation, feasibility, personality dev, product dev, sales, marketing, and so on and so forth, right? So let's say that, I want to basically, let's say, okay, how to raise an angel round. Let's say I want to look at it. The learn part remains the same, but the template is different. So, and I'll show you how it is different than the legal part, right? So essentially what we are saying is that we have, arranged all these topics in kind of a process guided workflow template way, which is in the form of task list. So what we are saying is that we are like splitting it out. We are saying it that, okay, step one, there's a description that if you want to raise your angel round, create a database of business angels, right? And, obviously you will not be doing this alone. So you can actually, basically assign this task to a team member, so you can just go ahead and assign the task to the team member so that, he will be getting a notification and, he will start working on it. And plus, basically, this is, you can just go ahead and, this is a placeholder of sorts, and you can just, just go ahead and keep working. Plus, at the same time, you can add all these kind of things, images, tasks, and stuff like that into it and work on it. So basically, this is how, this is a very, very comprehensive template based, and, you can share it with your team members, so they will have access to this kind of a thing, this template in general. So just like this, as I said, that there are more than 100 such topics on our platform right now, which you can just use it for free. Also, and now I'll come to the productivity and team collaboration part. So essentially what this is that, all these things are workspaces. So essentially these are our teams that we are using, that we have on SketchNote, right? So let's say that, you want to see all the documents of our tech team. So these are basically the workspace members who have access to this, the tech team. And these are the documents that, our tech team are working on. And these are the documents basically, we are working on. So we manage our entire tech operations and workflow using Kanban. And this is basically the week 5, the week which we just went by. And, basically this is all you can, just work on, keep moving the task, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into the granular details, but, you can do a lot of things like watching tasks. You can have replicate tasks, then you can share tasks. There'll be subtasks that you can go in. Then, you can make this board public if you want to share your public roadmap with the people. And, suppose, you want to just look at, you want to add a filter based according to, I suppose if I want to just look at the task which is done by someone only, then I would be able to see only that, and so on and so forth. So, just like this, we've got the documents as well. So I'll show you the design documents. So, so basically somebody asked us that, we work on, do we follow the design principles, right? So yes, we do. And this is what, so suppose we are right now researching on calendar and Gantt chart feature. So basically what we do is, oh no, just a second. Let's just check with this. 1 second. And so basically, what we do is that, we do a primary research and a secondary research, and we add that everything here. And once it's done, what we do is that, we do competitor analysis, and we keep all those things in here. And then we schedule these interviews with our customers on a weekly basis. And we just find out that, okay, what is it that, they would want, and so on and so forth. And then we come up with a basic prototype, then an MVP, and then a clickable MVP using Figma prototype. And then we share it with them. And then we learn basically that, how usable that prototype is and stuff like that. So as you see that this design document, we have generated, we are working on it ourselves, right? So it is not the template that we are following or anything. This is completely like, we are doing it in-house and stuff. So, you can also create these kind of templates using all these kind of tools that we are giving you and stuff like that. So this was basically the workspace part. But now I'll show you that, this is basically my organization, and there are people whom I'm collaborating in my organization. But just like this, suppose like, you are collaborating with other person's organization. So for example, if I want to see the documents, there are 47 members in Julio's organization. And, basically he has given me access to like, some of the documents, and I can actually see those documents here as well, because, there's like access restrictions and so on and so forth. But, you can collaborate with not only just your startup, but like, you have given access to someone else, or maybe like you have given access to other customer, and, you're working with them and so on and so forth. You can do that with SketchNote as well. Now, this is basically where we are right now in current stage. But going forward, what we are going to do is that, you saw that, all this extensive template library that we have, this is basically, we have generated that for you. But a lot of startups, what they do is that, they want to create the documents for themselves. and for onboarding their employees, or for regulatory compliances, or for anything, or maybe if you are a designer and if you want to sell your course or something like that. So we are working on an LMS feature wherein that you can actually come up with your own course. We will give you a payment gateway of sorts, and then you can monetize that course. You can make it public, put it on your subdomain, which will be providing you, and you can just start monetizing using our platform. So essentially what we are doing is that we are making like kind of a startup OS for early stage startups, wherein you just need this SaaS tool. You do not have to look at Notion, Asana, Airtable, or Jira, Confluence, or something like that. Here you can come here, you can manage the entire operations of your tech team, your design team, your operations team as well, and you can keep on working on with the document management as well. So that's where we are right now. So I'll just stop sharing right now, and I'll throw the floor open to questions.
Cool. So I got one question here. I think it's on private. Yeah. So is this platform only for startups, or students can also use this? Is it open for freelancers as well?
Absolutely, that's the beauty about it, right? So as I said that when we actually started working on the platform, we wanted to work on for students, right? So for example, students who have an idea to change the world, but they do not know how to do that, right? And that's where our template library of like more than 108 templates can actually help. And to be honest, right now, students from all over the world are actually using it. Not only just like college students, but also like engineering graduates, engineering students, venture builders, accelerators are also actually using it in Silicon Valley and in India as well. For freelancers, absolutely. So that's the beauty part about our organization wide kind of thing, right? So what you can do is that you can start using your organization, give access to your clients to certain workspaces or to their organization and those kind of things. So you can use it in running your full-fledged freelance bootstrap business as well.
Cool. Abhimanyu had a question. Can incubators use this too? And
I wanted to add on to this. I guess he already answered that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, incubators are already using it. Because we've got agreements, we cannot tell you which incubators are using, but the country's biggest incubators are already using it.
So how do we actually like customize it according to our own self? Like if I need to add certain like I need to get it customized. Can this be customized for a particular incubator?
Right. Okay. So, so when you talk about customizations part, right? Okay, I'll share that, we also run an incubator within ourselves, wherein where we have onboarded it's a 60-day incubation program, and we have onboarded 10 startups from around the world. So I'll just show you how we do that. So we run the entire incubator program here, and it's in my co-founder's organization. So here you see that our incubator is called 100K Challenge, and essentially these are the startups right now in the cohort who are actually working on all those ideas. So Blink is one startup, Mentro is one startup and stuff, and they have added all these kind of things and stuff. And what we do is that basically they have access to mentors from SketchNote side, and every week what we do is that they set up calls with a set of mentors. And mostly what happens is 80% of the time these startups have the similar kind of questions, and the mentors already know about all our templates. They assign those templates and basically see and basically what we have is that we have access to these startups. So Aerogram is one startup, and so on and so forth, right? So we have access to their team members and their documents, so we can see their progress of how they are doing, and then we can actually come up and give them better mentorship based on their progress. This is how we are running our incubator.
So if I want, so what I was asking is that if I wanted to, if I have made a startup assessment matrix and I wanted to implement this around my startups, I want to create another thing. So can I directly like get it a customized software from your end?
No, that is not possible right now. No, customized software is not possible. However, what we are doing is that we are working on OKR software. So essentially what it will happen is that, we are working on integrations right now. So for example, tech integrations, marketing integrations, sales integrations, we are working on right now. So once we get all these data points, the startups would be like, you can set team wise OKRs and then organization wise OKRs. Based on that, you can look at the analytics and the metrics that you define, and you can see whether, the startups have, attained or achieved those metrics and stuff like that.
All right, thanks.
Right.
Thanks, Abhimanyu.
Hi, Shrikant. Sandeep here.
Hi, Sandeep.
Hi. So I had two queries. One is regarding, let's say, if the startup is using it or the incubator is like implementing it. So what about the IP related data which is on the platform? So do we have non-disclosure agreement, etc., in advance, or do you have a different, sort of storage for each licensee? Is question one. Second is regarding evaluation parameters. So for example, performance evaluation, most of the ERP or other softwares, they give the results or outcomes in a particular format, which we know that are used for appraisal. So here, can we just manually check the performance, or is there any quantitative data, given out of this software?
Got it. So your first question is that, it's a little bit unclear to me. Apologies for that. But for the privacy and the NDA, right? So what do you mean by NDA? Like, which NDA are you talking about?
So for example, if a startup defines the task here, tasks by the team members, etc., I think those tasks or those activities may also include some part of their intellectual property.
Correct. So now I got your question. So basically, here what we have is that if the documents, you have like a private folder and a shared folder, right?
Okay.
So, it's up to the startup's discretion that, do they want to share that private information with you or not, right? That's between you and the startup, basically. So, right now, as I showed you that from the organization perspective, they have only shared the documents which they are comfortable sharing the documents with us, right? So that's between you and them, basically that's what it is. For the second question is about the analytics part, right? What you're looking at. So that's exactly what we're looking at, right? That is our main goal that we are looking at developing, is that once we start getting all these integrations in place, right? We'll be building all these OKR dashboards for you automatically. So, and then OKR dashboards, so basically we'll be working also on the same primer of build, measure, learn, right? So what we want to do is that, for the build part, what are the, APIs that, every startup needs? So for the build part, you would require like the tech stack, right? The GitHub Actions, GitLab, Bitbucket. Then the measure part is that, you want to look at the customer success. So for that, usually people use like Freshdesk, which is a ticketing software, or any other Zoho for startups ticketing software, right? Then afterwards, like, you are looking at Twitter, you are doing your marketing activity using LinkedIn on the other social media and stuff like that. Once you integrate all these kind of things here, right? And then you want to learn, right? So then you want to basically, link like team-based basically actions and metrics towards your final goal, which is basically can be revenue or great growth or whatever, right? That kind of stuff. And that way, basically suppose you define those pipelines, but you want to learn that, okay, suppose if I tweeted about this thing, how many signups did I get and stuff like that, right? But its pipeline is linked. And we have already right now, we are working on Slack integration. So on a daily basis, you can have these automations set that, at morning 9 o'clock, I want to see that, how much activity, Twitter activity actually, are related to my basically goals and so on and so forth. So, we are looking at automating this entire thing. So you will be getting like kind of a pilot's cockpit view and, on a daily basis. Imagine like, like a secretary coming and telling you like, this is what is working, which is not working and stuff like that. That's why SketchNote is going to help you with all those kind of things.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Shrikant, I have a question from someone. So you have built 4 startups, and obviously building a team has been one of the important parts. So what is something that you look when you're hiring someone?
Okay, that is a great question. So basically, I've worked with 70 people, and in my previous startup, when I sold it, there were just 7 people. Right now, we are 6 people, excluding the co-founders. So in all, we are 8 people. Primarily, I have learned one thing working with so many startups is that basically the talent is secondary. But the will to basically, to actually go that mile and that trust is the most important, because I believe that anybody can learn anything, no matter what it is or something like that. So trust and basically the the will to basically change the world and work in as a team is something that I look for. And then comes the talent. That's exactly what I firmly believe in.
Thanks.
So I've got a question. Can this send notifications on WhatsApp too? Not right now. We are right now working on Slack integration, but yeah, we will definitely start looking into this as well. So yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. And
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can raise your hand and unmute, or either type it in the chat and I can read it for you guys. Okay, so that's one thing. When should an individual think of pursuing their ideas, and at what stage they should start using SketchNote?
okay. So pursuing your ideas, right? So I'm actually helping a 16-year-old. He is, he cannot even code, but he's using no code solutions and working on his idea, right? Because he faced a problem, and he saw that the solutions which are already there in the market are not up to his liking, so he started building that kind of thing. I have seen that the best, the founders are the ones who themselves are facing those problems, so they can come up with the better ideas. So not, age has no barrier whatsoever when you're coming up with it. If you see that there's a problem and there's the current solutions in the market are not up to the mark, and you feel that you can definitely solve this problem, just go for it, right? For the SketchNote part, right, what I was doing is that documentation is such a huge problem for everyone, for me as well. So what I would do is that I would carry a diary, and then afterwards, I would start writing the problems that what the startups are facing and those kind of things. But mainly thing was that how can I collaborate with my like-minded people or my early team members, that how can we actually collaborate, start working on it. So actually we started working on SketchNote just purely from the knowledge management part. We did not even start with the productivity and team collaboration. So in fact, I would suggest you that even if you do not have an idea right now or something like that, but you want to use SketchNote only just to learn about that, what are the different parts of the equation which need to go to start a startup, right? It's basically all the parts need to align properly and need to fit in to form that entire machine. So for that, we already have a library, a vast library across legal, sales, marketing, product dev, personality dev, fundraising, and so on and so forth. Look for what other angels are looking for and stuff like that. So when you actually have an idea from the entire operations perspective, you would be a better entrepreneur. So right now, even if you do not have an idea, but you are interested in starting up some point of the time, be our guest. It's free to use. Make an account, start using it.
Perfect. Aman has a question. Can you please share more details on the video courses available on the platform?
So right now there are no video courses. It's just basically, we are flashcard based, but they are audio. You can listen to those audio cards. So there are no video courses right now on the platform.
Okay.
Also, Adhi and Shrikant, also we can mention about the credits that we'll be happy to extend to everyone in the room. For whoever wants to, just try the platform, you can use the credits and try it for next 3 to 6 months.
Absolutely.
Yeah. post this session, we'll send more details about the credits. Adi will share it with y'all, and then maybe you can try it on the platform.
Yes. And if you guys have any questions, how can they reach the SketchNote team? How they can reach you? Any details on that?
Yeah, sure. So I'll type in my email address. They can just directly get in touch with me over the email. And this is my Twitter handle as well. So you can just directly tweet me, or my DMs are open as well. And this is my LinkedIn. I'll just give you my LinkedIn as well. So you can just give me 1 second.
Hi, Shruti. You can ask your question.
Yep.
Yes, I'm waiting for Shrikant to complete.
Oh, thank you so much. So just let me just yeah, this is my LinkedIn. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay, so hi again, Shrikant.
Hi.
And I have a few questions. So I'll start with the first one. So what are the things that you need to remember when you are starting with a startup, or when you are starting with an idea?
So what is your question then?
My question is things which which anyone should remember, keep in mind when you are starting a startup.
Okay, so that's like a massive list basically that you need to do. But primarily, I would say that, just keep this in mind that, when you actually start up, you have like a certain idea, right? That, this is going to solve world problem or world domination and that kind of stuff. But just keep in mind that when you actually start off, that idea will definitely shape up completely different. So what I would highly suggest that, okay, yes, every research is very important, but I would just say that, just execute it and throw it in public. Get user feedback very, very early on, because otherwise, you will be in for a very big surprise, because if you spend like a lot of your own money and you launch like very late, that's going to be a difficult thing. So I would just suggest that, just go ahead, execute it, and start getting like user feedback very early on.
Right. So again, you mentioned about the money, and the next question is based on that. So like we have kind of stop loss. So what is that point? Again, this is a subjective question that everyone has their own answers. But
Right.
ideally, what do you think you should stop when things are not what is that time when you should realize that things are not working out? Because when you are passionate about something, you really do not understand, or you are not in the state of understanding that this idea is not actually taking shape. So
Right. So this is a very subjective question, right? As I said, my 2 startups, they failed because, we just gave up prematurely, right?
okay, yeah.
For Diabito as well, right? Because it was in such a regulated and a very complicated market, and there is you require a lot of compliances and stuff like that. For the first 4 years, we were just building the product. We were just building. So which means that there were no users and stuff like that. However, we knew that, we are in a market which is absolutely necessary. University College London had done our alpha test as well. And people were already waiting that, okay, they want to get this solution hands-on and that kind of stuff. So when you have all these indicators that people are ready to pay this kind of a solution, right? Then that is a great thing. So I was like listening to a podcast of a PhD professor as well, that they had launched the solution, but for the first 2 years, basically, they had zero traction. They had launched it, but there was zero. People were not even like looking at it and stuff. But then they realized that they were looking at a different market altogether, and the same kind of a solution, they made like little changes, and they started looking at different user persona. It just like skyrocketed, right? So sometimes it's basically, that's what, But it also depends, because that those guys who are PhD professors, they already had a university job, it was not, and they were just putting in like what 20% or 30% of their money into every month into it and that kind of stuff. But they were persevering because they knew that there is definitely a market for it. So essentially what I would suggest is that if you get like 10 users, right, then it is very easy to get 100 users. If you get 100 users, then it's easy to get like the 1,000 users and so on and so forth. But your first difficult task basically is to get to the first 100 users, right? And that's what people call crossing the chasm. Is that if you get like those first 100 users who are with you, no matter your design is really bad or your product is like failing, or if there are bugs and stuff like that, but they believe in you and that kind of stuff, that's exactly what you need. You need your first 100 customers who are your diehard fans, and then everything will be just super easy.
Yeah, that's quite insightful. Shrikant, I'm checking, but I guess you typed the message or your LinkedIn accounts on some private channel because it's not in the.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. I think I direct messaged just a second. Abhimanyu. So sorry about that.
Yeah. Hi, Preetpal. Hi, Preetpal. You have a question, right?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I had a small question. I just wanted to ask that Shrikantji did say that we should launch the product and wait for and see how much traction does it gain, how is the acceptance and everything. Just wanted to ask one thing. I'm from the product background, product development. So how good is it to launch a product in its initial phase, like saying like we should launch it as fast as possible, since it might not be completed and you might not get that much of attraction, you might not get the full feature set which people might like. So I just wanted an opinion on that. Like, what should we do? Should you wait or should you launch it as fast as possible? Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. So Pritpal, so yes, this is like a to be or not to be, a classic Shakespearean dichotomy, right? Everyone is struggling with this. And for example, we founders, we always think that, oh my God, like we could add like just one more feature, or there's like one more thing and stuff like that. But we come in, you will be coming for a very, very stark surprise, is because the users do not know your vision. The users do not know that what you are capable of or something like that. For them, basically jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai, right? That kind of stuff. So right now it is whatever this whatever you have launched, they will be just like looking at that and stuff like that. But you will always feel that, oh no, I could have made, if I would have had like one more month or one more week or something, we could have made it much better. But I'm of this opinion that you should not do that, because users do not know what it is and stuff like that. And out of like, say like you've launched 10 features, you will be surprised to see that only the users will be using only 2 features, and those 2 features will be people will be subscribing only for those 2 features, basically following the Pareto's law, right? So like those 20% of the features will be getting you like 80% of the revenue for your product. So but if you do not do not launch, and if you are delaying on those kind of things, you are working on that one feature, but you will be in for a surprise that that one feature people are not even interested to use. So that's why I feel that you should just launch, and launch frequently. Do not worry about the design part, do not worry about the UX part and stuff like that you can polish, because once you start polishing, once you know that this is the feature people are like really liking it, you can double down on that, and then you can just do that. So basically that's what you should do.
Thanks, that answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Preetpal.
Hi, Shrikant. I have one last question, if you don't mind answering.
Yeah, absolutely, please.
Okay, I assume that this is not something of your kind, but still I would like you to answer this question. That now, if you were to start a Horeca business, which is hotel, restaurant, and cafe, so how would you plan it right from the day one? For example, now you just want to start it one fine day, you felt that you have to start Horeca kind of, you have to jump into Horeca kind of thing. So now how would you plan it? So I would like to hear that.
Okay, so again, this is not my forte, but again, this hotel business is like super competitive, especially like, if you are from the metropolitan city and stuff like that, right? But suppose if it is for me or something like that, I would like, start a very niche kind of a business, hotel business or something like that, wherein like I would not start a normal cafe or something like that. But you see that I like cycling and I like music a lot. So maybe, and if you actually see that, cyclists really love to have coffee and that kind of stuff, right? So if
Right.
I start like a coffee shop only, like, focusing on cyclists, and have those kind of events and those kind of things and stuff like that, I would just pick up a small niche and look at, basically serving. So basically the same principle happens, even if I'm like looking at starting any kind of business, I would want to look at a particular niche and solve that particular problem, and then afterwards, horizontally increase and stuff like that. So even if I start like a cycling cafe, I'm not going to say no to a normal person who wants to enter my coffee shop, right?
Of course, right.
So, but having that niche thing, the cyclists in their groups, they will start talking, hey, did you go and check out Shruti's Cycle Cafe or something like that, right? That's amazing. They have got cakes which are only for cyclists, and with nutritional and calorific values, and they also organize talks and blah 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 and stuff like that. So basically that niche. So forming a community, like, looking at the Web3 and stuff like that, Web3 is basically nothing but without a community, right? So it's basically just like that. So, whatever it is, look at your small niche community, drive traffic using that community, engage people, have conversations, and then people will be coming in.
Sure. Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Shruti. Pratpal, do you have one more question?
If that can be answered, that'll be great.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Shrikant,
one
can I
last
go ahead,
question.
please?
Sorry.
Okay. Should I go ahead, please?
Yeah.
Okay. That's for
Just
Shrikant
one
ji.
second. Shrikant, we are running over time. Do you want to take these questions offline?
Yeah, sure. So what you can do is that, I've given my email address, my Twitter handle, and my LinkedIn. So please feel free to, just email or direct message me or message me on LinkedIn or something like that. And just attendance link. I'm not too sure what is this attendance link.
If you don't have a different factor. Aman, I'm not sure. I'm not able to understand your question, but you can definitely email Shrikant and let him know. Sorry, Pratpal, but even you can email Shrikant.
I think the time's up, and we'll respect that. Thank you.
Yeah. So sorry.
All right.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. And, again, just like, start using SketchNote. It's free to use as well. And if you have any questions, please get in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And all the best for your startup endeavors, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Shrikant.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Shrikant. Looking forward to connect
Thanks.
with you.
Same here. Thank you. Bye. Take
Bye.
care.
Yeah.